Can you hear me?
Yep. All right, guys. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football the day after the South Carolina loss. Auburn hadn't lost to South Carolina since 1933. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War Eagle got Devin Dawson on the line. A lot of fans frustrated about, especially the last 2 weeks. They feel like, things are not headed in the right direction long term for Auburn. Devin, give me your knee jerk reaction thoughts, like your thoughts right after the game yesterday on everything that happened yesterday.
Well, the sad thing is, I wasn't as disappointed as I thought because I knew this was going to be a coin flip game, and that's bad. So we get a good little lead early on, and then we do what we've done 3 of the games this season. We get a good lead, we let the team come back, and then it's a nail biter to the end. That's one of our problems. And before I go too far, I just want to say something. I've been hearing a lot of coaching things like Hugh Freeze, Urban Meyer. Just stop. Like, come on now. Another thing, the Gatewood thing. Gatewood is no longer at Auburn. He's at Kentucky. We can kind of silence the whole what if, type deals. Yeah, man, but Bo Nix looked pretty poor. And I was actually very impressed with the offensive line. They gave him time. They opened run lanes. Tank had a good game. Bo Nix made some really bad passes. 3 costly turnovers, put the defense in bad position. The first half, the defense played great. Yeah, I thought we might be onto something. Second half, too many turnovers. The defense couldn't stand their ground. Uh, I really think we need to be running Tank at least 20 times a game. Bo
I
Nix,
think,
47 passes with
yeah,
a
I think
running
you
back
put,
that's averaging over 7 yards a carry. Come on now.
yeah, I think that is a very poor decision on the coach's part. I understand there's a certain game plan that you may have in place that includes, passing the ball excessively, actually, with a guy like Bo Nix, who has never historically been an accurate passer. He's always hung around that 55, 50, somewhere in the 50% range, and he doesn't play well on the road. You got a hot-handed Tank Bigsby. I just don't understand how Tank Bigsby doesn't get more than 20 carries in a game like this. Especially, you see your quarterback is struggling. The game is still in hand. You still have the lead. What do you think is the logic behind not running Tank Bigsby?
Well, at the beginning of the game, I think they seen something on film against South Carolina. They try a lot of those slants, those quick intermediate passes, a lot of drops in those. And for some reason, we went away from it and tried to take some shots downfield. I do like the shots downfield, but Bo he just can't connect. A lot of the catches that were made were bad passes, just good effort by the wide receiver. A lot of the drops were good passes, just you know, and I think not having the spring really hurt that
Oh no,
consistency.
don't bring the spring in, because the fans are gonna say no. That's just an
No,
excuse. We
but
got to get.
it's the truth. You have 5 new guys on the offensive line. You're running a true freshman running back. You got a struggling quarterback that really needed that spring.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, for
Don't
those
mention the
for those
fact that
fans,
Auburn had a whole week off because of
exactly,
COVID. Don't mention that, because that's an excuse too.
and
You know.
for the fans that are gonna say excuses, obviously they don't know what in the hell they're talking about. Look around the FBS. What are you seeing? You got Oklahoma getting their ass whooped. You got LSU getting their ass whooped. Mississippi State comes out looking like the best team in the country the first game. They suck. Kentucky just beat the hell out of the Tennessee team that hung with Georgia until midway in the third quarter. Like, come on, Bama just beat the shit out of Georgia last night. All this, especially with Auburn, with all the new faces on offense and defense. I mean, it's relevant.
Right. And
These
then you
guys
look
have to,
at, oh,
and as you can see, game to game, the offensive line's getting better.
I was
Now, I
really
think we have a
impressed. I
good
was
running
really
back.
impressed with how they played. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bo, he did what he does. He scrambled for no reason, quite a few times, and a lot of that I think is a habit. He done that in high school as well, but in high school you don't have those second, third round cornerbacks that are going to pick those balls off.
Right. Yep. And you mentioned the offensive line. They're improving. It seems like they have the pieces together that Auburn will probably roll with down the stretch. Now, a lot of folks even talk about the performance. Now, you take away the 3 turnovers from Auburn, and you actually have, for
They look
once,
great.
a balanced performance. You got almost 500 yards of offense.
Yep.
The defense held South Carolina to less than 300 yards. They kept the guys that I thought would be a factor in check for the most part. They had some good moments, but for the most part, kept them in check statistically. Um, like I said, those turnovers are always going to be the great equalizer, even with the 3 turnovers. Now, this is what I really need the fan base to look at. Even with the 3 turnovers, Auburn still had a shot late. I mean, the worst case scenario of a game that you could have on the road, still having a shot late. And I just, as I continue to watch, as I continue to dissect what I was looking at, I just don't see a doom and gloom situation here.
Yeah, I may be called a sunshine pumper. I really don't give a damn. Besides the turnovers, which are crucial, the offense looked damn good. You can tell they're moving the ball better now. The offensive line is gelling. We have a clear number 1 running back in Tank. Seth's still banged up. If we can just eliminate those turnovers and they can get on pace and he'll run the ball more, I think the offense can be okay.
Right.
Defensively, we have to eliminate the penalties. The defense looked damn good the first half. Second half, they got gashed at times, but at the end, we were still in the game. And I want to say this. Well, I don't know what it is about Auburn. Yeah, we came up short, but those last drives we do, which seems to be pretty frequent, we are good on those the last drive of the game. For some reason, we can drive the shit out of the ball. I know it's a little bit softer coverage, but we look like damn Tom Brady on the last drives of the game.
Well, I think what happens is, and we actually talked about this in our group and a couple of other groups. I think in those last drives, they play more to Bo Nix's strengths, which is RPO, hurry up, no huddle, tempo. He's just not the guy that's going to sit back there and read coverages and find an open receiver. First of all, he doesn't have the patience in the pocket to do so. Second of all, he's not even groomed as a quarterback in high school, like you said before, to be that type of quarterback.
Exactly.
He runs off of tempo. And the thing that I want to see in Auburn this week, I want to see Chad Morris incorporate that portion of Bo Nix's strength. Because if they think Bo Nix is going to be a Trevor Lawrence or a Tua Tagovailoa, they're shitting themselves because it's not happening.
And we knew this since high school what Bo Nix was. He's a tempo, RPO, spread them out. He's not just going to sit in the pocket all game. We need more design runs for Bo because he can run, and you've seen that last game. I mean, he's no Nick Marshall, but he's not a damn Mac Jones either. He can run the ball.
So as we close this thing out, going into next week's game against Ole Miss obviously has had some success with their offense. Got Lane Kiffin as the head coach. Obvious differences as far as being able to move the ball. Arkansas really coming along, forcing, I think, 6 turnovers in that game. What do you expect to see from Auburn, both offensively and defensively in this upcoming game?
Well, what I hope to see is us run the ball more. Arkansas, that's basically what they done. They ran the shit out of the ball. Ole Miss doesn't have a defense. It's kind of hard to predict this year, man. You see it just as well as I do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hell, I took a 5-game parlay yesterday. Great picks. I missed on every one of them. I mean, it's not predictable with the whole COVID. And, a lot of these guys aren't prepared.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is definitely the case. Not prepared mentally, not prepared physically.
The only teams that I think look prepared are Clemson and Alabama. And Alabama's just now getting that defense to where it looks half-ass decent.
And like I told the fan base before, and they some of them were a little critical about the whole recruiting part. The teams that have the most talent who have recruited well, they're going to thrive in this situation because they're the most prepared. And Alabama has had a lot of
Exactly.
experienced guys coming back. And you
Exactly.
see Georgia still getting their asses kicked by
Yeah.
SEC West teams. They
Right.
can't. But no, we should have hired Kirby for what?
Yeah. Exactly.
For what? So he can come over here and lay
It,
an egg
it,
too.
it,
He
it,
has the
it,
best recruiting. He has the
at
best
least we
recruiting
can beat.
environment possible.
At least we can beat Alabama with some consistency.
Yeah.
Georgia can't do it. And I'm a little under the weather is why I sound like this. I want to say one thing. I don't see anybody beating Clemson this year.
Probably not. I mean, they
I
look
know
great.
they're gonna
They
say
look great.
they don't play anybody. Yeah, we heard that, and then they beat the shit out of everybody, and then won the national championship that year.
Right.
And in football, you can tell which teams are good. I don't give a damn who they're playing. When you're putting up a basketball score to a Georgia Tech team, I actually kind of like. I love that quarterback. I think he's got a lot of potential. When you're putting up a basketball score and your defense is playing like that, you're going to be tough.
Yeah, you're going to be real tough, man. Always like having Devin Dawson on the line. This is just our recap of the Auburn versus South Carolina game. I like to call this show Auburn versus South Carolina, or whoever we're playing, Auburn versus South Carolina, the day after. Devin always a great host. I mean, a great co-host or a great guest.
I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I woke up yesterday an Auburn fan, and I woke up today an Auburn fan. So war damn Eagle.
War Eagle. All right, guys, go ahead. Devin said it best. If you're an Auburn fan, you don't have to like the coach. You don't have to like everything that's going on with the Auburn program. But that's just like some of your family members. You don't always like your family members. You don't always like the people associated, even with where you work. You don't always like the environment, but you're still dedicated to that cause. And just because Auburn loses a game, it's not time to throw in the towel and place blame on just the coach. Just be a fan and just enjoy the fact that we're even having a season this year. These guys out here, they're putting it all on the line. They didn't know whether they were going to play or not. And they're giving us the entertainment that we probably didn't even think we were going to have. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Always is great. Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.